Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books. Today we are talking about the 8 reasons She-Hulk failed. She-Hulk was a failure. The second season definitely looks canceled. You may see this character pop up somewhere else in a future Marvel project. There are multiple reasons why She-Hulk failed. A lot of people would say, oh, it's woke, it was poorly done, the CGI. Well, I actually came across a very good summary of it. I went through it. I've got some of my own opinions on it. This is an article coming from Sportskeeda. Why did She-Hulk fail? The 8 reasons that justify its failure. These are very straightforward, well thought through reasons. I do agree with them. So let's get into this article. Before we do, please be sure you subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. And I'll tell you what, you guys have been great. The channel's growing. I really sincerely appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. She-Hulk Attorney at Law is the latest miniseries released by the MCU. After the first season of the show concluded on October 13th, the overall reaction from the audience was not good. I mean, there are people that tried to defend it, but realistically, no, people did not enjoy She-Hulk. That's that. The series also failed to get enough viewership to land on Nielsen's streaming charts, which is a first for a Marvel show. So if you're not even going to rate on Nielsen, like whatsoever, it failed. The She-Hulk introduces a lot of new characters and gives Charlie Cox's Daredevil a more prominent role in the MCU. So why did the show fail? Well, let's go over possible reasons. I will tell you this. This is well presented. Of course, I want to know your thoughts on why She-Hulk failed in the comments below. Please let me know. Poor CGI, Daredevil's depiction, and 6 other reasons that led to She-Hulk's failure. Number 1, the characters are extremely shallow. You know, there's an expression that characters are cartoonish or whatever, which is to mean like, well, they're just like paper dolls. They're standing there for pretty much no reason. You don't get insight into their real motivations. You don't consider them to be anything like the real people we know in life. That's a fair depiction of the characters in She-Hulk. She-Hulk is full of characters that enjoy a lot of screen time. However, far and few of them are relatable or even likable. Jennifer Walters is a dedicated lawyer, but the opinion that people have of her after she ends up interacting is that she's just shallow. Like, you really don't get any sense of her being a real person. The character of Titania, who is a villain on the show, seems like a stock character. Oh my God, she seems like a stock character. Others, such as Lulu, John Bass, and even Wong, have no arcs of their own. They seem to come and go as per the showmaker's convenience. They didn't earn anything in that show. This disengages the audience, as a result of which they do not care about the characters and by extension about the show. Because each of the characters are supposed to have their own little story of what they're going through and what they're doing and what they're trying to achieve. Everybody's trying to do something in life. So you can't follow a character if there's no story to follow. World building is severely limited. Here's them twerking, but literally for absolutely no reason. And she was retained as a lawyer, She-Hulk, in that episode for no reason. The MCU is known for its stunning legacy spanning the course of over 15 years. And that's just the films and TV shows. The comics, of course, decades. There are many titles that build upon the events of their predecessors. While She-Hulk follows the same principle, it also feels extremely limited. They make references to Marvel Universe, but they don't seem to incorporate anything in such a way where there's actually like any kind of story consequence or continuity of any consequence. For instance, when a group carrying Asgardian construction tools encounters her, it's a callback to the fact that Asgard is indeed a part of the main lore. However, it doesn't serve to increase the scope of the story. So you don't get a sense that there's like participation in the larger world. Jennifer does not go through any character development. This is probably the worst part of She-Hulk. CGI and the woke stuff and the girl power stuff, all that other stuff aside. No character development. She doesn't start one place and end up another place. Jennifer Walters gained her powers after she got into an accident alongside Bruce Banner. After some Bruce blood gets transfused with her through a wound, she turns into the titular She-Hulk. This was followed by Bruce taking her to his secret lab and helping her embrace the reality of being a superpowered individual. However, Walters is constantly rude to the Hulk and insults his legacy, which is filled with an incredible amount of struggle. She follows this pattern of behavior throughout the show, as a result of which her character falls flat. Even during the finale, when it's time for her to face the reality of her situation, she breaks the fourth wall and demands the writers give her a happy ending. Without any real stakes, the story feels superficial. 4. Another case of bad Marvel CGI. The show is not entirely visually unimpressive. However, the appearance of the main character itself is quite sloppy. It's definitely a far cry from the glorious and surreal CGI depictions coming from the big MCU titles. MCU's CGI team is under a lot of pressure to deliver quantity over quality, which is referenced even in the show. This is an ongoing trend as seen in Black Widow and Captain Marvel and seems likely to continue. 5. The wasted potential of Abomination. Tim Roth returned to the MCU as Abomination in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. While he appeared as a fierce villain in The Incredible Hulk, he now seems to have shed everything that made his character likable in the first place. It's not like they're concerned about their characters being likable over at Marvel. Abomination is one of the core Hulk villains and holds a lot of potential if used correctly. However, seeing as Emil Blonsky lacked any conviction to make a big move, it's next to impossible to bring him back into that light. 6. The show assumes that it's going to be hated. Well, they were right about that, but you can't assume it. She-Hulk had some people's hopes up, I should say, as its release came closer and closer. However, the show itself tries to ridicule the trolling Marvel fans as simplistic caricatures of trolls within the show. Trolls on social media are, without a doubt, a negative influence on the whole fan base. Well, I don't agree with that. I think trolls make things fun, even in my comments. I get plenty of them. What the writers didn't consider is that by incorporating it into the story itself and projecting it constantly, there's also alienating the real fans of the MCU who could have liked it much more if it focused on other aspects of She-Hulk's story. The whole idea was not to make characters out of the trolls and try to mock the trolls from an abuse of power situation. The whole idea is just make a show with a character that has an arc that changes, with a couple of other characters that want to do things that they interact with. That's all you really had to do. The show ruins Daredevil. I've always been a big fan of Daredevil. I thought the Netflix Daredevil was good. Let me know what you thought of him in the comments below. I don't know what they're going to do with him now. Netflix's The Daredevil introduced Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock in a serious light. Not only was Murdock's character intense, he was also deeply introspective while battling his inner demons and was a powerful fighter. She-Hulk sadly reduced Murdock's character to lighthearted support for Walters. A callback to the famous Daredevil hallway scene, the show sets up another similar encounter only for Walters to drop from the ceiling, thus ending the expectation. Although Daredevil received some very gracious treatment on the show, it would be hard to bring him back to his Netflix roots. 8. And finally, the finale is a stark departure for MCU's usual endings. The MCU holds a prestigious legacy, or it used to. With the Avengers saga ending after Iron Man's grand sacrifice, it's up to the future to uphold these ideals. Sadly, that sacrifice is rendered meaningless in She-Hulk. Walters constantly breaks the fourth wall by talking to the camera and addressing the audience directly. It mimics the antics of Deadpool, though it works to the detriment of her story. If that wasn't enough, Walters then lands in the writer's room only to find that an AI named Kevin, in reference to Kevin Feige, controls all the stories. There are countless moments in the MCU that are magical, and portrayal like that might have taken the magic away from them. She-Hulk failed because it lacked the emotional hook that is otherwise typical of MCU projects and any actual real story. Under all of the power, under the fighting, even the best special effects, you have to be able to have a human being to relate to. Human beings are watching this stuff. Some are. You have to see some other human being doing something. They don't have to look like them. They don't have to be the same race as them. They don't have to like the same things as them. They just have to be human. Despite the fact that the show had some obvious problems, it also introduced many new characters, including Mr. Immortal, the Hulk's son Scar, which was a terrible version of Scar, and that means Planet Hulk might be coming. Even if the show didn't hit the right marks, you can hope the MCU will have a better effort in the future. Let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Are there any reasons that we missed here, that She-Hulk failed? It's obvious. It was a terrible treatment. It's not even about woke this or woke that. It's not even a story. Real waste of money and of people's interests. Okay, so again, let me know what you think of all of it in the comments below. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up when you like it, and I will see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.